Hey, what's good? I'm professional shooting coach Colin Castello with ShotMechanics Basketball, and today I'm going to tell you how your coach ruined your jump shot. All right, so I've been a professional shooting coach for a long time, and one thing that I find over and over and over again is that most players have either had or almost had their jump shot ruined by some coach. And this might be because the coach doesn't know what they're talking about, or maybe they think they know what they're talking about. So today what I wanted to do is I wanted to bust some of those myths and help you get your own jump shot back and make sure that your coach isn't screwing up your jumper any longer. But what I want you to do is watch the end of this video because I have something free that you're not going to want to miss. Now, the very first thing we want to think about when it comes to shooting instruction, and the thing that most coaches screw up, is that they preach theory over comfort. Theory over comfort, meaning that they have their system, their thing, their stuff that they think every player needs to do, and because of that, they kind of forget about your own comfort, right? Shooting's a lot about comfortability because we're all different shapes, we're all different sizes, we have different size hands, we have different size arms, we're different explosiveness when it comes to athleticism. So to think that we're gonna try to, make sure that everybody has the exact same shot just isn't really gonna work. So if a coach has their theory on shooting, most of the time, that's not going to translate to every player on the team. So what we end up seeing over and over and over again is a player might be hitting shots in something that's comfortable. Maybe it's not something that the coach agrees with from a mechanic standpoint. So they force that player to change. And so they put theory over comfort. What we find is players make the most shots if they can be the most comfortable, right? So if you can just make small little tweaks and stay comfortable, that's that zone we want to be in. So if your coach is preaching a lot of theory over comfort, that's something that you're going to want to disregard. All right, so the next thing you want to look out for is this one-size-fits-all or cookie-cutter coaching, kind of style that a lot of shooting coaches have. And basically that just means a little bit like I mentioned before, that everybody has to do the same thing, right? My high school coaches said that everybody had to shoot off of a 1-2 step, and everybody had to put their hand here, and everybody had to do this with their legs, and everybody had to do this on their release. But the problem is, like I mentioned before, we're all individuals, right? So maybe that worked for 40% of the kids on the team or 60% of the kids of the team. It just doesn't make it optimized for everybody else. So if your coach is having some sort of cookie cutter instruction where they're telling the exact same thing to every player every single time, you know that they probably don't know what they're talking about, and they're probably screwing up your jump shot as well. Because if you don't fall into that small percentage of people that cookie cutter form works for, then you're gonna have bad results. I can virtually guarantee it. So keep a lookout for cookie cutter form and kind of this one-size-fits-all coaching strategy. That's how you know your coach probably doesn't know what they're talking about. All right, so the next thing you gotta look out for is coaches that aren't results-based. Results are the most important thing when it comes to shooting, right? We want to make shots, we don't want to miss shots. So what I've seen a ton over and over again from coaches all over the world is that they aren't results-based. They have their system, they teach their things, and even if you're missing more shots, they don't care because you're doing it the way they want you to do it, right? Shooting always needs to be results-based. Whatever you do to make more shots is what you want to do more often. So I've heard countless stories of players that have been really good shooters doing their own shooting form. A coach will come in, say, hey, you got to do this with your hand, you need to do this with your release, you need to do this with your feet, and then all of a sudden they can't make shots anymore. But the coach is like, great, I love it. It looks exactly like how I want it to look. Looks don't matter, results matter when it comes to shooting. Again, looks don't matter, results matter. Think about somebody like Lonzo Ball, right? Lonzo Ball could have the ugliest form in the world, but as long as he's making shots, then it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't matter. So what I want you to think about, if your coach is trying to preach to you about, kind of mechanics and making it look good over the actual results, that's something you really want to look out for because it can be incredibly dangerous. I've seen tons and tons of players' jump shots absolutely ruined by this and this alone. So remember, it's gonna be all about having what gets the best results. All right, so another thing I notice over and over again is that a coach's ego can stop progress. Basically meaning if a coach is too proud to realize that they're wrong or that they're not doing it the right way, or maybe that they're not optimizing all of their players' jump shots like they could, it's gonna stop the progress because nobody wants to admit that they're wrong, right? And I see this in the coaching field over and over and over again. If somebody's been coaching shooting one way for 20 years, they're not gonna be able to very easily be like, oh my gosh, like I've been doing this wrong and maybe I haven't helped as many players as I'd hoped to have helped, right? Because at the end of the day, coaches aren't bad people. They're just trying to get you better the way that they know how. So if you have a coach with a really, really high ego, like my high school coach had a big time ego, it made it really, really hard for him to realize that there might be other ways to teach shooting, or there might be other ways to optimize the jump shot, or there might be other ways other than the way he learned to really make sure that his players are making more shots. So that's another thing you gotta look out for. If a coach has a big ego, it's gonna be really hard to kind of break through that. And so sometimes you gotta kind of be, a little bit more gentle by the way you go about working on your own jump shot. All right, so now it's time for the free stuff. So all you gotta do is click the link in the description down below. You get free access to my Noah Shooting Academy, brought to you by the guys over at Noah Basketball, the revolutionary training technology that's gonna help your team make more shots and win more games. So if you click the link in the description down below, it's free to sign up. You're gonna get free drills, free workouts, all that sort of other good stuff that's really gonna kind of take your game to the next level. So once we get your mechanics dialed, the Noah Shooting Academy is the very next step, and I'll see you there. All right, and if these videos helped you out, go ahead, like, comment, and subscribe. That way you help the channel grow and you help spread the word of Shot Mechanics. And if you want to, follow me at Shot Mechanics on Instagram, because I got a lot of exclusive tips over there as well that you're not gonna wanna miss. Until next time, splash on.